How were the noodles?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I hear there's a superstition that the Japanese eat noodles on New Year's Eve for the longevity because noodles are long, and helps create a long-lasting relationship with a lot of things. And I'm happy to be here for my very first event. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed the show, and it creates a long-lasting relationship for the next year.
So please let us know your thoughts about the Rizin environment, the atmosphere, the New Year's Eve show. What are your thoughts about it?
As I was telling Shingo earlier, because he's been helping me personally a lot, it's been so convenient. It's been super helpful. It's been very easy and fluid. A lot of promotions. I've had my struggles, whether it's with UFC and Brave, and given we all have our hiccups here and there, this was probably the easiest thing. The only thing I do wish was that I'd flown in earlier, because I definitely felt the jet lag, cutting weight and for the fight. But overall, I'm just happy to be here. It's a blessing in disguise, and sometimes sacrifices need to be made for an event like this. And for me, I was just happy to be a part of it. But honestly, it's probably one of the smoothest things ever. Plus, I've never flown business class. Dude, I've never felt so fancy in my life. That was amazing. I felt so bad checking up on Lazy Boy Miguel that I'm so used to flying to economy. I was like, oh, let me check up on these guys. I don't know why they're complaining, but I'm so used. Like, now I'm in this recliner, and I went back, and I'm like, oh, this looks like it sucks. I want to go back to business class. I'm sorry. So this is it, dude. I've never been treated this well. It's been an amazing experience. Thank you.
How is the broth?
It is phenomenal. I'm so dehydrated from the fight, so this is great.
Now that you faced Shindu, what are your impressions about your opponent?
Um, Honestly, I thought it was going to be a much easier fight. Looking at his style, and many of the Japanese fighters here in Rizin have the same flashy style where they explode in the first round, and then eventually the second and third, they're very, very different fighters. So for me, I was like, oh, let me play it safe. Let me just let him grab me, let him take me down, let him do whatever the first round. And the second round, I'm really going to show up. But after I hit him many times to the body, many times to the head, cut him twice, he just kept coming. And he wouldn't stop, and he was playing it safe in the third round, and eventually took the risk of going for the knee bar, and I think that's what lost him the fight ultimately. But for me, he was just a very tough opponent, and the nicest thing was, even after the fight, he came to me and goes, what's something I need to do better? How do I compare to your training partner and student Lazy Boy? How do I compare against some of the other fighters in the UFC or in Brave or other promotions? Like, he wants to get better. And he goes, I hope you come back to do the Grand Prix, because I want my rematch. I want to beat you. And I told him I hope one day he does beat me, because then I know he is getting better. But until then, I have to keep on growing as well. But I believe he's a very, very tough fighter. Things he needs to work on, but my experience won me the fight. But I hit him. Trust me. And he just kept walking forward.
So now that you've got the win, what are your future plans from here on?
For me, I'm glad the year's over. It's been a very tough year for me, finally getting back in the winner's circle. Again, my last fight before this, I thought I won, went to the judges, and just didn't go in my favor. This one, going to the split decision, I'm like, oh, and then it ended up going in my favor for this one. So I'm happy to end the year strong. But right now, we see where the world takes me. I want to go back down to flyweight. This one was a test to see if I can make flyweight, and I made 129 pretty easily. Was able to hydrate pretty well, or 59 kilograms pretty easily. So I believe my next fight will be at flyweight, and hopefully, because I'm still contracted under Brave, that we can figure something out and collaborate with Rizin again, and be able to do the flyweight Grand Prix and fight some of the greats like Kyoji Horiguchi. That would be a very fun thing. I used to train with him at American Top Team. Some good days, some bad days for both of us, and it'd just be a fun spectacle to, not just train with, but also fight some of the best.
You didn't get a post-fight speech in the ring. Did you have anything planned? Because, it's pretty unique. You get to speak to the whole arena, no interview, just you get the mic. Did you have anything planned? And if you did, would you care to share it right now with the same enthusiasm you were planning to?
Trying to remember what I was going to say, because obviously in the moment it's there. But the biggest thing is, thank you. To be able to be at a place to where some of my first fights was watching bootleg DVDs of Pride fights back in the day from my brother that he bought from someone on the street, and those were the very first MMA fights that I really saw, and eventually WEC and stuff like that. So to be able to say I fought at the same exact place, at the same arena, with the same promotion and all these different things, to be here. And for me, my whole childhood has been Japanese oriented when it comes to Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Z, everything growing up. Even the martial arts films that I watched growing up were my first martial arts, Shotokan Karate. I just want to say thank you to Japan. Thank you for having me be here, and thank you for Brave for allowing me to, give me this opportunity. Sheikh Khalid, His Highness, for being able to just, let me go for one fight. And it's an amazing thing for me. It's been a very tough year, so I'm happy to end the year on a very, very high note, and a place that I've always wanted to go to. I'm a kid from the south side of Chicago, so I never expected to leave the city, nevertheless the country, and to go to Japan, where again my whole childhood was made from. It's a blessing in disguise. Probably too much for a post-fight speech, but overall I probably would have kicked out of stage. But I just wanted to say thank you for Japan for having me, and Rizin in general.